Restored Republic via GCR update as of November 12, 2018. The below was a summary of information from the Internet. It would be up to the individual reader to do their own research and decide whether or not it was valid. Patience was a virtue. Having virtue was a sign of a good moral being. Good moral beings had the power to overcome evil and change the world. Judy note, what we think we know, likely to change on a daily, even hourly basis. A 800 numbers release, Q has called this next week beginning November 11th a week to remember. Sources have been ordered silent, though it was recently reported that the voter fraud by Democratic Party officials before, during and after the November 6 midterm elections would very soon be revealed through sting operations and mass arrests, while followed by a stock market collapse and Jazaro announcement. During these events the RV and 800 numbers should come out. B. Martial law on November 11th Q posted, timelines change. Watch the budget. Enemy at the front door. USSS stay alerts prevent travel. A week to remember. Q www.rumormillnews.com web link. C. Upcoming events, while all tiers should go at same time, on Monday, November 12th Tier 5, the general public, was scheduled to begin exchanges. China recently made a public announcement that they would revalue their yuan on that same November 12th. November 14th was the back wall for GCR. QFS and Jazaro announcements, plus there would be an increase in purging of the cabal. On November 26th private transactions, platforms, would be liquidated. D. The plan. Back in November 2017 Sessions fired corrupt Department of Justice and FBI officials and hired an Attorney General in Utah Huber to work with the Horowitz team of 470 lawyers and investigate Hillary Clinton emails, Uranium One, the Clinton Foundation and FISA abuse. Since then these investigators have filed over 61,000 indictments in federal courts across the nation, many of them dealing with satanic pedophilia, child torture, though perpetrators were not likely to be charged with those satanic worship offenses due to the difficulty in obtaining evidence. Waves of lower-level affiliates have come forward to turn state's evidence on other offenses including treason and obtain immunity in exchange for their testimony. On November 10 operatives trained to breach certain facilities were deployed to gather vast quantities of last-minute evidence that would be brought before secret grand juries. Suspected criminal elite would undergo civilian trials, while more prominent others would gain a one-way transport to Gitmo for military tribunals set for January-February 2019. The operations underway were a sign that the alliance felt that they had enough compromised individuals from the FBI, Department of Justice, Department of Defense and thus Supreme Court to proceed with the plan. E. Stock market collapse. Significant moves have been made to destroy the Federal Reserve fiat dollar through a stock market crash so as to initiate a transition to the quantum financial system via an RV. A slow-motion stock market collapse began in October and stocks remained in the red upon market close Friday, November 9. Poor stock market performance would continue to claim corporate victims as the QFS went online. Look for a stock market Black Monday, November 12, Black Tuesday, November 13th, or Black Red, November 14th. Expect financial chaos around the globe starting the week of Monday, November 12th and likely to continue until the end of November. It would take a couple of weeks for the global monetary system to adjust to the new digital quantum financial system. As no one really knows what would happen, it would be wise to have food, emergency supplies and cash on hand. F. Voter fraud. www.starshippaththebigpicture.com web link. Voter fraud by Democratic officials has been reported before, during and after the midterm elections and was about to be exposed in a massive sting operation. What we know at this point. 1. Trump has tweeted that certain election confirmation signatures did not match and there appeared to be election fraud in several states. 2. Rumor was that long ago the U.S. elections were rigged by Soros and company, in cooperation with the Obama-Clinton administrations. 3. Before the midterms on Monday night, November 5. A staggering amount of voting machines in all 50 states were impounded because they had preset votes in them. 4. The Florida Pay-Locker postal facility was alleged to hold uncounted ballots and was the same facility which processed Caesar Sayx pipe bombs. 5. Lawyers for the Democrat Gillum and Nelson campaigns objected to non-citizens' votes being denied. 6. It was documented that in Broward County, Florida, 83,000 Democratic votes were fraudulently manufactured and then were rushed by rented trucks to polling places. A U.S. federal judge has declared those acts unconstitutional. 7. Corrupt Broward County elections supervisor Brenda Snipes mixed invalid provisional ballots into the valid batch and refused a court order to turn over the ballots. 8. A Broward County employee's affidavit confirmed that the election staff filled out blank ballots. 9. Official records prove underage persons were registered to vote in Florida. 10. In Texas, 9 people have been arrested and charged with election fraud in an organized, illegal voting scheme. 11. Democratic Party officials in untold locations across the U.S. were suspected to have filled out many thousands of blank ballots, removed and destroyed legal ballots, deliberately organized non-citizen voting and stored under lock and key many thousands of blank ballots for the purpose of altering the vote total. 12. Democrats were believed to have stolen elections in at least Florida, Arizona and Missouri. The feds may get involved in a recount. 13. Midterm election results could well be nullified. If so, new national elections could be scheduled for 120 days after announcement of the Nazara-Jazara law. G. Nazara-Jazara announcement. The 1999 Nazara-Jazara Act came about from a 1993 ruling of the U.S. Supreme Court after 30 years of lawsuits by the Farmers Union. The U.S. government and banking system were found to be in collusion to defraud U.S. citizens. Nazara-Jazara was signed into law, under duress, by Bill Clinton, although the Bushes and Obama still kept the ruling from being enforced. Announcement of the Nazara-Jazara law was expected at any time to restore constitutional law while calling for new national elections within 120 days. See the history of the U.S. economic system, New Republic via GCR 235 points of fact as of June 3, 2016. H. November 11 Intel drops, Canon Intel drops the control and issuance of blank ballots is key. November 11, 2018 13:36 and 43 seconds, East, Q. What if the below could be proven? 1 Election plus Tea Party officials filled out many thousands of blank ballots. 2 Election plus Tea Party officials removed and destroyed legal ballots. 3 Election plus Tea Party officials deliberately organized non-citizen voting. 4 Election plus Tea Party officials in XX locations across the U.S., under lock and key, stored many thousands of blank ballots for purposes of altering the vote total. Who safeguards blank ballots? Who issues blank ballots? Who controls blank ballots? How many blank ballots are generated versus total county pop? The control and issuance of blank ballots is key. Why did the same counties, under dispute today, refuse to turn over voter registration information upon request to the Voter Fraud Commission? Why was the Voter Fraud Commission disbanded and turned over to DHS? What vested authority does DHS have compared to a commission body? www.washingtonpost.com web link. Enemy at the front door. Q. November 11, 2018 12:58 and 18 seconds, East, Q. Let the unsealing begin. Let the declass begin. Let the world witness the truth. We, the people. Justice under the law. Q. November 11, last Q post. The Pentagon has suspended the scheduled military parade until at least 2019. Timelines change. Watch the budget. Enemy at the front door. USSS stay alerts prevent travel. A week to remember. Q. I. November 11, 2018 1:44 p.m. East Intel Alert, Operation Disclosure, GCR, RV, Intel Alert. Disclaimer, the following is an overview of the current situation based on intelligence leaks received from several sources which may or may not accurate. Other confirmed sources may also be included in this overview. 1. Massive voter fraud during the U.S. midterm elections was set to be revealed via a massive sting operation. This would further expose the cabal-infested government and lead to the current fiat financial system being exposed as a scheme to keep the world in debt and poverty. 2. The integrity of the stock market would then be ruined, thus causing it to collapse and making way for the new quantum financial system, QFS. 3. The private currency redemption event, RV, would begin during this time. 4. The way of life as we know it would be exposed as a lie to keep us enslaved for the cabal to profit. This would cause worldwide public anger and unrest, which was when Jazara would come into play to soften the blow. 5. At the right time when the world needed it, Jazara would be introduced. J. November 11, 2018 voter fraud before, during and after midterms, video, Hunter, video. Greg Hunter Dave Janda, voter fraud before, during and after the midterm elections. Voter fraud has been reported before, during and after the midterm elections. Before the election on Monday night November 5, the staggering amount of voting machines in all 50 states were impounded because they had preset votes in them. Trump had teams out there making sure of the integrity of the vote. There are a lot of federal officials on the ground. I think this is going to go by the way of the Jill Stein recount event, and massive voter fraud will be uncovered in multiple locations across America. K. November 11, 2018 11:57 a.m. East election fraud 9. Video, Canon, video, Space Shot 76 Canon sheep no more. Q goes over the voting fraud and how back in 2016 there was a sworn statement proving such. Did Q team set up the Dems to shoot themselves in the foot after demanding a recount? Can you say national voter ID laws? L. November 11, 2018 10:37 a.m. East Democratic voter fraud, X22 report episode number 1713. The central bank shifts direction, next phase of operation put into motion. The central bank was running out of time and the system was deteriorating at an accelerated pace. Certain actors wanted the central bank system to continue on, but they were stuck. The narrative has shifted away from them and they were desperately trying to regain it. Keith Ellison stepped down from DNC post. Erdogan said he gave the tapes to the US, UK, Germany and many other countries, but heard nothing yet. Trump bashed Macron before he visited him in France. Macron called for an EU army, his popularity was plummeting. Q dropped more bread. The plan was moving forward and we were headed to the next phase. All the pieces were almost in place. The deep state knew what was coming. This was why they were frantically trying to push their agenda with voter fraud to get their people into the Senate. The deep state realized the House was not the prize and now they were scrambling. This was anticipated and those who committed fraud were being monitored. Never interfere with an enemy while they were destroying themselves.